Hello. So I have decided to start a new series on my YouTube called Quick Sizzy Tip. So the goal for this series is to show you how I use Sizzy in my daily web development workflow. So if you don't know what Sizzy is this amazing browser that was initially made to allow you test your website in different devices or on different screen sizes. But over the years, it has grown into this kind of Swiss Army knife that comes packed with a lot of features that makes website development pretty easy. So I'm going to be showing you in this series how I use it, some tips, and if you're new to CZ, you could use these tips to kind of like know what you get with CZ out of the box. If you've been using CZ for a while, perhaps you can learn something new from this series. So let's get into it. So this very first one, we're going to be looking at staying organized with projects. So now this is CZ, and a quick note, I'm on CZ 60.1 ish. So if I quickly check that, you get to see the version. And if you're on versions of CZ lower than this, the UI is going to be sort of different from what you're currently seeing right now. So our focus for today is going to be on this part of the CZ app. Okay, so you could see here, you see this is called fleetdm.com, and what this is a project I've set up in CZ. So what CZ does is that it gives you this feature where you could add multiple projects, and it lets you open the project in your editor of choice. My editor is Visual Studio Code. You could also open the project in Finder easily, and if I click on this drop down, you get to see the projects I have set up. So this comes in handy in such a way that if I want to get working on a particular project, I could just open CZ and use CZ as sort of a launch pad to open up the the source code in my editor, or if I want to go through Finder to open that up. All right, so now you see what projects are. Let's look at how you could manage them, i.e., having new projects and stuff. So CZ comes with a default project called default, all right? But you could have so okay. What I meant to say is that CZ comes with a default project group. So a project group in CZ lets you group these projects based on some categories. So for me, I work on Salescast and also work on Fleet. So these are the two categories that works for me. And you could see under Salescast, we have a project called salesconf.com. And under Fleet, we have a project called fleetdm.com, which is the homepage for or the website for the Fleet product. Okay, so you could create as many group as you want, or you could even add projects to the default group. So let's add a new project to see how that go. Okay, so I'm going to click. So let's add a new project in the default project group, for example. So I'm going to click on this. So we're going to give the project a name. So let's call this one salescast.com, and so you could choose the group you want even if you click on that button, which comes in really good. So I could select any of the group. So let's leave it to default for now. And since you have different views, so you could select the views you want. So I want it to open. So what this means is that by default, if you open this project, what sort of view do you want CZ to be in? So I want it to be on full screen mode, which is kind of what we already are in currently. So if I click on next, then in here I could put in links. So the main link mean is okay, when you open this project, what link do you want CZ to open? So I think a fairly common sense link you could put is the dev server link, so which would be something like localhost. So I believe the salescast project runs on localhost 3000. So I could call this local, then put in localhost 3000. Then you could put in bookmark links. So for example, you could put in the production link for your project. So in this case, that will be salescast.com. Oops, salescast.com. So you could also add other links. So salescast is built on Nox. So perhaps I want the Nox just URL to be come in handy. So I could just say noxjs.org, which would open up, which I could just easily get to from the bookmarks and all this stuff in there. So I could click on next now, and this is where you get to point to tell Sizzy where this project is located at. So if I click on this icon, I get to see the salescast.com. So you get to pick the folder, but this is the one I want already. So I click on done, and you get to see here. Then Sizzy will tell you what browser, what editor rather you want. If you want to open your project's source code. So mine is Visual Studio Code. You could set yours to anyone that you choose based on the editor you have on your machine. So once that's done, I could click on finish, and here we have a new project. Okay, we have a new project, and if I click on it now, it's going to try to load up that URL we set, which is not running currently. So it's gonna, of course, gonna fail to reach it. So, and one cool thing I like is how Sizzy suggests that, okay, whoops, I can't reach this site. Perhaps your dev server is not working. Do you want to open the production bookmark, which was the one we set up? So if you click on that, it's going to load up the production bookmark. And if you click here, you could see the bookmarks that are in here based on what you set whilst you were creating the project. So that's cool, right? So you could easily switch between projects by just clicking on that drop down there, and you just click on the project's name. All right, click on the project name. So you could deactivate the project by clicking on this deactivate button. So if I say I want to open this in my code editor right now, I could just click on that, and yeah, it gets open in my code editor. Cool. All right. So yes, so that's it for projects. If you are using Sizzy, or if you're about to get inside using Sizzy, you should definitely have them in your workflow, and I really feel it's going to boost your web development workflow. Okay, so that's it for this episode, or for this video in the series. So look out for more quick Sizzy tips.